Let's go.
Well, welcome to another episode Out of the Blank podcast. I'm here with Sara Whitney.
Hello, hello.
Sara, please tell me a little bit about yourself and if you want, what you do professionally.
Okay, well, my name is Sara, as you all well know. I live in England and my day job is in recruiting, but I moonlight as a Instagram / food reviewer / lover of pizza. And that's about it, really. I'm quite straightforward.
With the food reviewing,
Mm.
what exactly are you reviewing food-wise? Because it's in your name, and I want to get down to the point because I have talked about veganism. I have a buddy who's
Okay.
vegan. I'm not against them. I just have one issue that everybody who is vegan has to mention that they're fucking vegan. It's nothing. I don't understand it. The food is good. I get it. Plants. I'm a plant guy too. I eat nothing but vegetables every day. If you looked at my meals, you'd be like, "You're vegan." I'm like, I'm not really. I like fish. I just don't like red meat.
Right.
But I just don't get it. Everyone's like vegan chick 420 or something. I'm like, why?
I think there's like a two-pronged thing there. So I think vegans are proud to be vegan, and I know a lot of people take that as being like they think that they're better than everyone else because they don't eat animals.
Have you ever
But I
seen the
think
movie
that's
Scott Pilgrim? Have you ever seen that movie?
yes, I
Where
love that movie, and I
the
love that bit where he's talking about what's
the
his name? Is it
vegans
Brandon?
literally had
Yes,
superpowers. He punched a hole in the moon. Like, what
it's so good.
if that is true, I would love to be vegan. But at the same time, I'm just like, I like fish.
I think they literally go in the movie. It just means that he's better than everyone. So yeah, it's but I also think that it's just letting people know, like, so I put that in vegan in my, not in my handle, but in my account, so people know when they look at my food that what they're looking at is vegan, not because I'm like, you've got to turn vegan, but because I think that it's only fair to let people know what it is that they're looking at. And also a lot of people have questions as well about, sorry about that, about veganism. And so it kind of sparks like a debate, and I think that's important as well when you're dealing with lifestyle choices, to be open and to allow people to want to ask you questions and stuff.
When did you decide to become vegan, and like, why did you become vegan? Did you just decide like you just weren't interested in eating animals, or was it more of a medical reason?
Um, Two reasons. So environmental was a pretty big one for me, because I became aware that eating meat has such a damaging impact on the environment. And also I do love animals, and I was kind of getting to this point where I was eating chicken, but also loving chicken, like just as a whole, as a living thing. And I felt guilt. I started to feel guilty whenever I'd have like a KFC or something like that. And then I was like, I can't do this. And I kind of flirted on and off for a few years. And then I've been fully vegan, I think, since last year in November, I believe so. Yeah, since last year in November. So yeah, I haven't always been vegan, and I get it. I know I'm probably going to get crucified, but I understand why people enjoy meat, because it tastes good. Like, I get it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. If I smell like a crazy, like insane, nice steak or burger, I'm immediately like mouth watering. But I haven't had it in so long because I've been eating
Yeah.
clean since I did like this fitness journey like 8 years ago.
Ah,
So
okay.
I've been eating nothing but fish and salads and all these other types of things. And when I eat red meat now, my body does not process it. My body starts
Ah,
shutting down. Like
rejects it.
I
Yeah,
won't,
yeah,
I
yeah.
won't shit for 3 weeks. I swear to you, that's something to laugh at, but for real, like my body's just like, I
Yeah,
can't
I
do it.
believe it.
If I smell beef, I have a craving for it, but I know if I eat it, my stomach, like I'll be in pain, like somebody's like taking a knife to my stomach. And
Right.
I remember, like, I used to work out at 3 o'clock in the morning with my buddy who's vegan, and it was insane to see what I would eat to get, because you have to try and keep your protein. We would try and eat our weight in protein. So
Right.
for
Right.
me, I immediately knew in my head, 90 calories, 20 grams of protein, and a can of tuna and a salad is what I can go for. So I can eat 100 calories and burn 1,600 every single time. So
Right.
when I would work out, I would go insane, like just burn 3,000 something calories and then only eat like 800. It was fucking, once you stop eating giant meals or eat small meals or eat just like portions, your body adapts to it. But my buddy, him being vegan, he wanted to bodybuild like me. So he was eating plants and he was consuming 600 calories, 800 calories just to get that
Right.
20 grams of protein because it was nothing but beans, grains, and plant proteins, which
Right.
is really weird because my protein powder is plant protein because it's
Right.
stronger and it's more protein content than the actual whey is. I'm like, I think it's the dairy.
Yeah, it is the dairy, and there's hideous amounts of hormones and all that stuff. So you're probably, I don't know, because hormones can help you bodybuild as well. So I don't know,
But you can get the same hormones
you
from
know,
like plants as well. That's why
totally.
I was interested in the vegan food review. I was like, what are you typically trying to show people about that vegan is an actual good option depending on who you are? Like it's not all just fucking tofu. Like I feel like that's when people hear vegan, they immediately think it's all like bland, boring foods. I'm like,
Yeah,
first of all,
yeah.
I've accidentally had tofu before in a California roll, and it was pretty freaking good. So I'm just
Yes,
saying.
tofu's delicious, and it just like with everything, it's seasoning. Like with meat, plain meat on its own isn't that great. But it's the seasoning and the way that you prepare it and the way that you cook it that makes it delicious. And that applies to tofu. It's yeah. So yes, tofu's good. I love tofu. I'm sorry, I've lost my train of thought there.
Do you ever
Remind
find
me what
that
you
you're
just asked
looking
me.
do you ever find that you're looking for vegan recipes or are you more looking for vegan spots that you're reviewing like good because what's weird nowadays is if you would have told like 10 years ago
Yeah.
or I'm vegan, it would have been a problem at a restaurant. But
Yes, you would have
nowadays,
had fries, and
yeah,
that's it.
nowadays it's becoming so popular that
Right.
there's vegan options and everything like and they understand the whole sanctity behind it. A lot of kitchens now are all like, I just think it gets weird because you get to see like I'll watch like a Facebook video at like 1 o'clock in the morning and I'll see Gordon Ramsay and there's a bone in my pasta sauce and like they make it with some type of thing. It's like she's vegetarian and then it comes this whole thing where she's getting sick in the bathroom. Like how is that possible that you just don't have it for so long? But it's like your body doesn't know what the hell to do with it.
Right, right. I think the point of I remember what you're talking about now, sorry. I think I have ADHD or one of those things, so my mind tends to wander and I'm like,
You're in
oh.
good company.
um, so yes, good. I'm glad you're not taking it personally or think I'm not listening. I think the point of my Instagram is not to try and convert people or to try and say, look how amazing this vegan stuff is. It's literally just showing how much I love food. I just happen to be vegan. If you scroll much further down, it actually didn't start as a vegan account. I started out as a flexitarian initially because I thought that it would be limiting to be vegan and have an Instagram account. And then of course the guilt and everything set in. And also, yeah, my love of animals it was already very strong, but I was like, how can I say that I love animals and still eat them? So then I just fully adapted it. And it has not been limiting at all, as you said, because there's so many options now and it's growing. It's like this ever growing thing, which is wonderful for me.
I think it
And for
works
other
for
people.
some people and then it works for others. Like, I mean,
Yes.
I told my buddy, I think I'm going to go vegan. I eat mostly salad. So I'm just going to
Yeah.
cut out all dairy and all this other type of stuff. I'm a big egg guy, but I haven't had eggs in probably over a year now. But like I told him, I was like, I'm going to go vegan. This was a few years ago. And I would get
Okay.
this really bad habit of a food I would eat called Jello. And I'm
Oh
like,
my
see, I was like,
goodness. Yes, I
I don't
know
eat
Jello.
I eat Jello, so like that's vegan, right? And he goes, no, it's not. He goes, that's the
Nope.
opposite of vegan. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, look at the back of that. You see where it says collagen? You know what collagen is? I was like, yeah, it helps your hair and all that. He goes, that's animal bones, bro. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's amazing how how many things are made up of animals that we eat every day and we have no idea.
That's
And
why
you
it's
don't
interesting you're doing a
realize it.
food review on it, because like if you
Mm.
look at every food review page, it's the greasiest, nastiest shit you will ever see in the world. It's like a freaking donut mixed with a pizza slice and a hot
Oh
dog
my
shoved
goodness.
inside of it while in a cow's
Yes.
ass, and you're like, I can't know what to do.
Interestingly enough, now veganism has seemed to have gone that route.
Mhm.
So now there are donuts inside pizzas, inside hot dogs.
How is
But they're just
pizza vegan? Isn't the cheese a problem?
but there's vegan cheese. There's so many good options for vegan cheese nowadays, which is very comforting, because cheese was the number one thing that I was like, I love a good strong cheddar. It is something that I miss even now daily. And whenever I see people eating cheese that I can't have, it's a struggle. I have like this internal struggle, I'll be honest. Usually since November I haven't weakened, but in the past I did, and I used to just be like, oh fuck it, I'm gonna have some cheddar. So but yeah, there are, and I swear every month I find something that's even better and even closer to the original taste of whatever it is that it's imitating, which is, again, it's really handy.
I understand the human equality or the animal equality part behind it.
Mm.
I think it's very, very important because I took a trip to one of those chicken plants, and to see a lot of the stuff that goes on around there is definitely something where you would never want to eat fucking chicken again. I know so
No,
many people that used to work at Tyson's chicken nuggets, that the brand Tyson.
no, I did live in the States, but I lived in California, so I don't know if
Yeah,
is that
it's this is like one of the biggest whatever chicken nugget sales or whatever. Anything you see that's like frozen chicken is usually have a symbol
right.
with a red letter. It says Tyson on it. Well, the Tyson
Okay.
chicken plant is actually, Purdue, that whole thing.
That name rings a bell for some reason, but I
That
don't
the
know
main
why.
station for that is actually close to where I live. So we took like I
Okay.
know there's a bunch of people that used to work at those chicken factories, and I saw what they did on a daily basis. You get to see chickens with their heads cut off, hanging upside down, people unfeathering them and stuff. And I'm like,
Uh,
how the fuck can you eat chicken after that? Like that's all I eat is chicken breast or tuna. But like when I see that, it steers me away. Like some
yeah,
kid
of
we went on a
course.
field trip with when I was a kid, they were like crammed. I think one dude went on like a psychopathic rampage and killed 8,000 chickens, just cut all their fucking heads off,
Ah,
completely had to throw all the meat out. It was completely useless. And I'm like, you start realizing how bad of conditions these animals are in. And I always talk about
yes,
like
yes.
the way society has gone. A salad is more at McDonald's than a burger. That's really fucked up.
It's insane. It is insane. Being vegan, my grocery bills, even in England, I mean, groceries over in the States are ridiculous. It's $100 for 3 things at Whole Foods. It's insanity. But that's another podcast, I think. But even in England, my grocery bill is doubled when I eat healthy, as opposed, and I buy a lot of vegetables, and I try to buy organic as well. And as opposed to if I were to buy frozen ready meals and chicken nuggets and all that sort of thing, it is, the difference in my bills is literally almost double. It's insane.
Well, I mean, a can of
And it's a
tuna is
sorry
like
state of affairs.
well, like a can of tuna is 90 cents. And then you look at
Mm,
stuff like when you try and buy kale or you try and buy any type of thing
right.
that's not lettuce, because romaine lettuce just doesn't have any nutrients. You're trying to buy something that's going to give
Right.
you, it's all like $10 or $3 a
Yes.
bag for kale. And it's
Yes.
like, why the
Nuts.
fuck is the Lucky Charms $2 and then everything that's healthy is so damn expensive? Like, no wonder like people think literally is their grocery bills over $80 and then they only have 7 items. That's eating healthy. I'm like, no,
Yep.
we just live in a fucked up system where trying to be healthy is extremely difficult.
Of course, of course. But then, you know, they don't make money from us being healthy, do they? It's a whole thing. It's like you eat unhealthily, you get sick, you go to hospital, you buy medicine, and then you start the cycle again, and it keeps going and keeps going. And that's just so. Unfortunately, it's the world that we live in, and yeah. yeah,
Do you
it's
think
sad.
society's going to change with a lot of these millennials that are coming up? Because I think a lot of them are on this like new lifestyle, energy, health kick. And I'm like, I don't think obviously red meat's not going to die. I've talked to too many barbecue enthusiasts, and I probably said some things
Right.
in a podcast that's like, okay, I get. I was against vegans until started understanding where only thing I'm against them with is the fact of when you put it like as your name and you tell everybody how much you are vegan. I'm like, good, that's good for you, because I understand the moral reasoning behind it, because I've done a lot of animal studies and a lot of articles when I used to take classes in
Right.
school, and it was a fucking travesty to see all these animals that are being tortured in such a way. And then now we're literally making up animals and injecting them with hormones just to be bigger and better sources for meat, which I'm like, that's fucking animal cruelty at a point.
It is. It is. It's awful. And it is I would like to think so, but I know some people who are very much enthusiastic, some millennials who are, have similar mindsets to me, and, and are very passionate about, human rights and civil rights and animal rights and all that kind of thing. But then I also have a few friends that do not think like I do, and it's pretty evenly split, I would say. And they tend to be more on the side of capitalism, and sort of what benefits them above other people. And I love them very dearly, but it's there is, I think that as much as we would like to believe that millennials will all go in that one very positive direction, there's always going to be an opposition, and it'll always be quite balanced.
I always
Some
look at
people.
the fact of like, I think a lot of what is kind of where people kind of get turned off by the vegan movement is only the
Mm.
idea of they don't understand. Like, typically for me, I'll even admit I don't really understand a whole lot of what there is that you guys kind of eat besides obviously all plants, but like, what is like good ideas of the, for someone who is just trying to switch over to their diet to be able to maintain that. But like everything we see stereotypical, like we're talking about Scott Pilgrim or something, it's all hippies or it's all this. I'm like, it's not that. You would never tell my buddy
It's
vegan
not.
unless like he just says it like, oh, I can't eat that because it's not vegan, like peanut butter or stuff like that. I'm like, okay, well, teach me what exactly can you eat, and what is it like if somebody listening right now wants to switch over, how could they?
Um, well, I would start very, very basically. So if all you have to do is check the ingredients, there are also a surprising amount of things that are easily accessible, that are vegan, that are already in supermarkets, that are not kale and not, specialized no meat chicken nuggets that cost you a bunch. It So I would say start with vegetables and look up things like, I don't know, 5 ingredient vegan meals on the internet. I don't know, I don't have specific recipes, I just have like ideas in my head, and then I do post them. But again, the intention was not to inspire people, I'll be honest, it wasn't to inspire people to be vegan. I just love food, and I wanted to share my love of food, not only on stuff that other people's stuff, but stuff that I cook and eat as well. Um, as for tips, yeah, I'm trying to think of things that would be good for like vegans starting out and how I started out.
I helped
Maybe
design a
don't.
vegan sub. I mean, that was
You
probably,
did?
I didn't mean to. It was in a podcast. His name is Vinny Silva. He owns a food truck, and he's like, Rob, I got like on this podcast we're talking. He goes, I have this. I need to make a vegan sub. I don't know how to do it. Can you help me? And on this podcast, I'm like, why instead of using meat, why don't you just use pasta? Like use like a pasta
Oh,
sub sandwich and eat it like that.
yeah.
It gives you
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
craving.
That's
I mean,
cool.
I don't eat bread, so the thing is, I knew everything of how to work around to get that craving of bread. So instead of
Right.
because
Carbs.
the crust, if you don't eat the crust of your pizza, you're fucking insane. I hate the people that leave it in the box. I'm sorry. But like I get the craving for crust, but what I noticed is a cabbage leaf can easily give you that crunch factor that you need to not have bread.
Yeah, cauliflower bases are really good as well, and you can buy them ready-made at supermarkets. I would say just start out being flexitarian initially if it's something you want to get into. Like, don't rush into it, because then it becomes almost like a fad diet, and they never work. Like, you never stick to that sort of thing when you go really extreme. I would say start out slowly and just introduce 1 or 2 vegan meals that you've researched into your rotation for the week, and kind of see how you go. And then in a couple of weeks, maybe introduce a third one, and then start buying vegan chocolate instead of regular chocolate. And then like that's how I did it. Like it was just these slow, almost imperceptible changes that ended up staying permanent after a while.
Now, if
So yeah.
I was going to ask for a vegan recipe, what's one you could give me that you like to make?
So one of my favorite things to make that I make quite frequently is ramen. Oh, I love ramen.
Are we
So
talking about like the little packaged ramen that I can make like when I was
no,
going through my college years?
no, although I really love those.
That if that's vegan, that's the cheapest fucking vegan I've ever met, because those things for like 80 packs is like $1.
I don't think that they are, unfortunately. I wish they were. I think they use like shrimp paste or
I
something
was about
like
to say,
that. So
because I would have been vegan my whole my whole childhood. It was nothing but ramen. I had never figured out the meat or the whatever the flavor packet was. That was the biggest pain in the
yeah, it
ass. I
is.
was like, when do
It
I
is.
add this?
When do you add that exactly? It's so difficult. I used to, if you add it in when you're cooking, it just waters it down, and then you've just got watery pasta. My mum actually told me what to do, and she was like, you cook everything, just cook the noodles in water, and then you put it in the bowl, then you add the sauce and you stir it in, and then you eat.
Well, tell your mom
So
I watched a person make ramen out of a Keurig. So that was ingenious to me. I was like, I was trying to put this in the microwave, and then I never learned how to use the oven, so I had to stay away from that thing.
no, it's like ramen. Like, have you ever heard of a restaurant? Oh, I don't know, they don't have them in the States. It's called Wagamama's. It's like my favorite restaurant. That's where my ramen inspiration. But there's tons of restaurants in the States that do ramen. I believe it's a Japanese dish, and it's literally just noodles and broth, with vegetables added in, kind of like pho, if you've ever had pho before.
I've worn it. I don't think I've ever eaten.
Yeah. See, anything that's messy, I love eating. So yes. And yeah, it's just broth. Like you get some miso paste, miso. I don't know how you say it, and some water and onions and garlic, and you kind of chop it all up and brew it all together. Like I said, I've not like officially looked. I'm sure there's much better ways to do this. And then I add some red Thai curry paste, some coconut milk, and some tahini, and that's my broth. And then I just cook everything else separately. So if I choose certain vegetables, whatever it is, that I usually use bok choy, or sometimes if I'm feeling fancy, I'll use like a meat substitute, and
There's a really good
spring
song I
onions.
want you to look up after this. It's by a guy
Okay.
named, I will send you a DM of him, but his name's Maccabee. He's got a song called What Me Eat, and he's like a Jamaican kind of like reggae rap kind of artist, but he literally makes a song just listing off what sounds like his grocery list, but he doesn't like a Jamaica. He goes vitamins, minerals, very high number, and he starts naming like cucumber, and he just starts going and literally naming off all these vegan or vegetarian items, but he puts it in a song form where it sounds really freaking good. I'm like, dude, this guy's just naming off his grocery list. He goes
Right,
avocado,
right.
he's just going back and forth. But like, what have you noticed about yourself through becoming vegan? Have you noticed any body changes, like your skin feeling better? Obviously, like it's going to be a lot better that you're not eating a lot of like heavy meats. I start to notice like a lot of people talk about like, oh, I just ate, I can't move for a little while. I'm like, yeah, it's because you just
Right.
ate something your body's really struggling to digest right now.
Yeah, it's very true. Yes, all the stereotypical changes that come along with being a vegan. So I definitely have more energy. I sleep better. I suffered a lot with acne, so I used to get acne on the sides of my face, and no matter what I did, I mean, I tried everything. I went to doctors and took medication, and it would go through phases where it would kind of dull, and then it would come back, and it left me with scarring.
Did you do the clear
Um,
seal pads, the ones where you rubbed?
oh, I did it all. I did
Don't do
cheek
those. Did you hear
things.
the side effects of those things?
No, I used those for quite a long
One's like
time.
explosive diarrhea that has blood in it. Listen to the
Okay.
commercial. Just watch the whatever the Activia commercial. There's a guy and he's going, warning, side effects are blindness, death. And it's like, whoa, I'll take
I
the
do
acne.
I do love American adverts because they have all those things afterwards. But yeah, and even my scarring on my body has faded since I've become fully vegan. Um, on the sides of my face and in other various places where I've had scars, like I've noticed it fading, and the acne just went. That was it. It cleared up and it disappeared, and I was ecstatic. And that was after about 2 months, I would say, of being solidly vegan. And then in the next 3 or 4 months, I noticed that the sort of pock marks I had on the side of my face started to disappear as well. Um, and yeah, I would say it's not anything. I didn't change up my skin routine. I know a lot of naysayers will be like, that's not possible, but it's almost like it helps to regenerate your body a little bit. And I think that when you consume tons of hormones and consume all the other stuff that's in meat and dairy, it's almost like your body never gets a chance to fully heal itself
Well,
and
like, well, we
fully
look
kind
at the
of
fact
regenerate
of
stuff.
vegan and all this movement's kind of becoming so popular now is the reason why is I think people are looking closer at their food. Like, holy shit, we're being
Mm.
injected with major hormones right now.
Oh yes,
Like
oh yes.
I've eaten a can of tuna every single day for probably 9 years, and I got my blood tested, and my doctor's like, "How much tuna do you eat?" I'm like, "A lot." He goes,
He
"Your
knew that.
your heart rate is amazing, but he goes, you have an issue." And I said, "What's the issue?" He goes, "You have
Oh,
mercury poisoning." I said,
oh my
I was like,
goodness.
"Oh shit!" So what does that mean? He
Oh,
goes, "Cut back on the cans of tuna. Don't eat them for every single meal because you're
right, right.
probably getting headaches a lot." I'm like, "I get a few here and there, but I just thought I'm a man. I would tough out of it." But you know, there's like, for instance, the reason why I asked you why is it a health thing is because my buddy that I was
Mm,
mentioning earlier that I was working out with,
right.
he switched over to vegan. And the reason why was because he had read an article of at the time he was experiencing severe liver issues. A lot of his
Oh,
organs were not functioning properly because he
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
getting the proper nutrients. And he read an article about this guy who was experiencing the same issues as him, but switched over to a new diet, either fish or completely vegan. So he decided to
yeah,
go vegan with it, eating tofu, eating nothing but plants, and his body
yeah.
healed itself. He became
Yep,
healthier. He became better. I'm like, this is why I
I
say
believe it.
it's not for everyone, but it works for
No.
some people.
Yeah, it's not. And I try to, as much as, like, initially when I was kind of flexitarian, I felt like I don't have a leg to stand on to kind of tell people how to eat because I'm all over the place. And then when I became fully vegan, I do understand the frustrations of someone who's vegan who feels passionately about the world, and but I also understand that you can't force your opinions or your views on anybody, no matter how passionate you are about them. You kind of, there's a level of respect that even if I don't like it and I don't agree with what you're saying, I will do my best to educate that person on whatever it is, and I will do my best to share with you what I have, especially if you have questions and you want to know. I'm always like an open book. I'm happy to answer questions about veganism, but I can't force it on people as much as sometimes I'm like, no, come on, I love you, I really want you to get this and be on this journey with me. You can't do that to people, and it never works either. It always backfires when you try and force your views on people. I found a lot more success with just talking to people and being open. And although I do find that a lot of people will if I go out with people I don't know so well for dinner, or like a group of friends, where there's people that I don't know, I'll find that people will be very interested and they'll be asking me a lot of questions about why I'm eating the way that I am, and then I explain I'm vegan, and then they go, oh, I hate vegans. They're always talking about being vegan. I'm like, well, you asked
Yeah,
me.
yeah, that's true. I think it's just most of the time, like for me, what really kind of changed my perspective on it was the fact of the health thing. But then, like everywhere I go, like I'm always running into someone with their name by it. It's like when you have a Facebook profile, like I just can't do it. It's the same thing with stoners when they all put 420 in their profile. I'm like, motherfucker, like we get it. I get it, you know, but like going out to eat, I've started to notice like so many options now. Like before, back in the day, it was very difficult for me and my buddy to actually go get a bite of food.
Mm,
He would ask a million
yeah,
questions about the menu. Is this prepped near anything? Is this taking this? Is this near anything like this? Is this having
yeah.
contain? Now it's just like, oh, they have a vegan side menu right here we can order from. I'm like, holy crap! Like, thank God I don't have to wait 4 hours for you to get your damn food.
Or end up being like, oh, actually, I can't eat here at all.
Yeah, like, you know, we end up
Yeah.
sitting down. I'm like, oh, well, you go wait in the car. I'm gonna go get what I want to get. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. It is nice that you don't like there's no sacrifice there's not as many sacrifices that have to be made anymore. I've definitely noticed it with like hanging out with my friends as well. Like we can go to places together more now, which is good. And it's kind of something for everyone vibes, which I really dig. Like I said, I like to make people feel inclusive and not kind of alienate people. As even if I don't necessarily agree, even though sometimes it doesn't always work, like the Black Lives Matter movement is such a prime example. I'm still learning and trying to be the best like ally and friend that I can, and when I come across people that say things like all lives matter and oh police lives matter, things like that, my challenge has been to try and keep my cool and not get angry with those people and try and educate them and explain why what they're saying is not okay,
I think it's
in a
the issue
productive
that
way.
they're trying their best to really just show that we're all equal. And I think that's a
Mm,
lot of people think that way, but there's obviously a giant thing going on against a certain race, obviously, that needs to be fixed. It's a
yeah,
giant issue. So
exactly.
I saw
That's the
something
thing.
posted very good today by Terry Crews that kind of changed. He said,
Oh, I
Black
love him.
Yes, he said Black Lives Matter
Yeah.
is not black for power is what he posted.
Yes.
And I saw that and
Yes.
I was like, yeah, it's not about trying to be better. It's not trying to get on top. It's
No.
not about this. There's a problem. There's an issue in our country. It's in
Yes.
everybody's country. The fact
In
is,
everyone's country.
society sets us up to judge each other and base everything on the
Yes.
actions of what you do, and everything is always, oh, you're not doing this, well, you're not going to be that, you're not. It's all judgment. It's two-faced shit, and I'm tired of it,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes, totally.
I come in so many people, like walking to so many people that just have this sense of entitlement, and I'm like,
Yes.
why can't you just be a fucking person? Like, why the
Yes,
hell is it
exactly, exactly.
is it always like I'm better than you because I own this or I have this? I'm like,
Right.
you're a person. Like, I mean, I work at a gym, for instance,
Oh,
and
that can be quite a toxic environment, James, because it's very much based on looks
yeah,
and yeah, it's I hate going to the gym, for example. I went through a period where I loved it, but it's a very aggressive place sometimes, I find, and it's there's a lot of judgment there. Like I always felt very self-conscious, especially on the women's side, because not all women, I love women. I think as women we should support women, but there there can be a sort of a bitchy, cliquey kind of vibe when you go in there as a woman, and people kind of are assessing you on what gym clothes you're wearing and how good you do the workouts. And you know, I've definitely seen people smirk or giggle at things that I've been doing, or maybe the clothes I don't know exactly what it is, but so yeah, I kind of stopped going to gyms. And
it's really what I try and do. My hardest is break the stigma behind people
mm,
that want to work out that feel uncomfortable when they work out. I think it's the only
right,
reason with the pandemic, the only good part about us reopening again is the fact of now there's curtains around a lot of the treadmills. So it gives you that kind of closed off view from everybody so you can actually have fun and work out.
ah,
But
yeah,
I
yeah,
used to go to a 24-hour fitness place. So I would be there at 2 o'clock in the morning. And you know, the people I would come across would be people
yeah,
that are overweight coming in there, and they would see me as
oh,
I would walk in. And
yeah.
I mean, I have a six pack, so but I'm not, I wear jackets and stuff because I have a body dysmorphia thing. So I'm really big on not judging other people. If anything, I'm judging myself in the mirror. But I would walk in and I would see all these people that were kind of overweight. They would look at me and they would hop off the treadmill and then like sit down and wait for me to leave.
Oh,
And I would tell them,
it makes me so sad.
I'd walk up to them like, go work out. Like, I'm here doing what I'm going to do. I'm not going to bother you. I'll go in a completely different room. And I would go because they would see me there
Right.
all the time. Eventually, they would ask me, like, you're here every single day. I'm like, I've worked out every day for 8 years and I don't plan on stopping.
Wow.
And the reason why is because I was bullied really bad through school and I took that
Yeah.
pain and turned it into something. But like,
Something positive.
it's also go
Right.
the other way too. There are some people that show up to a gym that I really don't like where they wear nothing but makeup or they wear like shirtless or they do something to try and show off what they have and it's really deteriorating the power or the passion or the drive for these other people to try and want to make their lives better. It makes it intimidating. I had
Yeah.
a girl sit in front of me while I was doing bench press. I'm sitting up, so I'm in between rests right now, and there's a mirror straight in front of me. This girl comes in wearing nothing but way more makeup than you're supposed to when you're working out, wearing a really like cut up crop top shirt and really like tight leggings and starts stretching and bending down in front of me. Now I'm looking down at the mirror part and looking at my face and looking at my own body, judging myself because that's all I do. Whenever I do anything, I'm always judging my looks. And she turns around and goes, can you stop staring at my ass? And I'm like, honey, I'm looking at myself in this shirt and realizing that I need to lose a little bit of weight right here because I'm starting to get love. And I just start going into this rant and it sounds like a lot of how a woman would think, and she would sit there and go, oh my god, like you're what, like just backed away. I'm like, you don't understand, like there are some people that, I mean, most people nowadays, it's all about judgments. I can't fucking stand it. I
Yeah.
want the sweatpants confidence where you could walk into a store and not give a fuck, like, you know what I mean, like you're wearing sweatpants when you go
Yeah.
grocery shopping.
I suppose the only thing I would say about that is two things. So I'm very much an advocate of whatever whatever makes you feel good, I think you should do. So I think that if you want to wear a full face of makeup to the gym and a crop top, you go for it, and you should just be able to do it. And the second thing, even though she positioned herself in front of you, it may not have been intentional, and she may
She
have
was trying to pick up
assumed.
chicks. I mean, not pick up chicks. She was trying to pick up dudes. She would walk into a room, even though she could have stretched somewhere completely different, but she would do that
Right.
on purpose. I live in a beach town, so everybody's
Okay.
bikinis and
Right.
everybody's
Right.
always hitting on everybody and always trying to go out with
Okay.
someone. That's the type of vibe she gave off. She didn't work out at all. I think she was there probably 10 minutes and left. Like that was the whole point, was to walk in
Okay.
and show. We get that a lot. Like even at my gym
Yeah.
I work at, there'll be people that'll come in like basically naked. Like no, like maybe a bra and then like a really tight pants, and they'll just start doing like a couple exercises, but they'll mostly walk around and take selfies in mirrors and get in front of people, and it's like a way to pick up other people. But
Yeah.
guys do it too. So it's an
Yeah. I suppose I'm I'm of the opinion, if you're not harming someone and your opinions or your actions are not do not directly damage someone else, or they're not negative per se to someone else, I think, and both parties are consensual in even in hitting on, I think that applies to as well. I think it's okay, and I think, that's what you want to do and that's your life, and
that's fine,
go
but
live your best life, even if it is just taking selfies in the gym.
I get
And
upset when it becomes to the intimidation factor that a lot of them try and do, where they surround themselves
yeah.
with people that are trying to make their life better, but don't have an amazing body and are working hard to
Right.
do it. They just those people end up wanting to give up. And I've met so many of them through the
Right.
8 years I've been doing this. And I've just been like,
Yes.
the first 2 weeks is the fucking hardest. It's just like trying to do diet.
Definitely.
The first couple weeks are the hardest,
Right.
but stick to it. And if you want to see change, you'll change. I helped my buddy lose 60 pounds
Wow,
in a
that's
matter of
incredible.
3 months. Mostly
Wow.
it was really easy advice. He's
Yeah.
Italian and he eats nothing but pasta and breads. I said, cut that shit out. Just stop eating that for a
Right.
little while. Have it every now and again. Don't eat it every single meal, and work out a little bit. He stuck to the gym religiously like I did, and he ended up losing a crap ton of weight. Now he's taking selfies and stuff. And I'm like, I did that because he wanted to. If he wanted to stay like how he was, he would have stayed how he was. I would have been more than, I love him either way. But I think
Right.
it's the factor of the reason why people are afraid to get gym memberships, or when they sign up, they give up after a while, because it's just so intimidating in that environment. Everything's a
It
giant
is.
competition. And I'm just like,
It
guys,
it definitely is. Yes.
yeah,
As I said, I've experienced Snickers and sort of side looks and things like that, and I've had some negative experiences in the gym. Um, but also I am aware that I am a very self-conscious person who so it's kind of a two-pronged thing. So it's, I feel like I'm not good enough, and part of what I think is so important, and like part of what I've been on kind of journey is self-love. And even if they are snickering at me, what I have to learn is to not care and to not let it stop me doing what I want to do. And I think that's so vital, especially now. And I think that body image is so ingrained into us from such a young age, that it's this fine line of changing because you want to be healthier, but then also changing because you think that you are not good enough because your body doesn't fit a certain
Have you looked
thing.
at the what we considered hot back in the day?
Yeah, like Rubens, like the painter Rubin made pictures of women who had cellulite and were wobbly. It's fantastic, and that was
Fucking
considered the
David Hasselhoff didn't have a single pack on his whatever on his stomach. Didn't have a single six pack. But now everything's bodybuilding and all this other type of shit, and it's so.
it just goes with the times, and that's why it's so stupid. That's why it's so stupid. We really, really must just accept ourselves for who we are and accept our differences, and everyone is beautiful. I really do think that, except for racists and transphobic people and homophobic people and
I never
fat
truly
people.
understood transgender until I had one eventually on my podcast that I met through school, and
Okay.
I don't think I've ever related to anybody so much in my entire life. Shout out to Dakota. He actually just
Hi,
had top
Dakota.
he just had top surgery. It's been a couple of years,
Oh,
but we did a podcast about a year ago, and you know, he was telling me how he lived this life of like looking in the mirror and seeing boobs and not wanting them. He wanted to be a guy, and he finally did his surgery and everything, but the way he would talk about looking into a mirror and not liking what he saw was I could relate to being body
being
dysmorphic.
body dysmorphic. Yes,
So I
yes,
was looking in the mirror
exactly.
and I was like, I don't like what I see because I've been told for so
Totally.
long that it's bad and it's all this type of stuff, which made me,
Yes.
it was good for me for pursuing the gym and wanting to change myself. But
For health
there's,
reasons. Yeah.
there's obviously stuff that I'm still fucked up about when it comes to looks.
Mm,
Like every time I pass a
yeah.
car mirror, every time I see a reflection, I'm always looking at myself and
Yeah.
judging, oh, I could be doing this or I need to work
Totally.
on this. And it's like, people don't understand that my cousin gave me the best advice. He goes, why the fuck are you caring what people think about you if you're not going to meet them a minute later from now? And it's why I talk about the sweatpants confidence. When you walk into a
True.
store not caring how you look,
Yes.
it shouldn't take you 45 minutes to an hour to get ready. If you want to do that, sure. But at the same time, if you feel like you need to go to the store and grab something because you might run into somebody who
Yeah.
cares? Just
Yeah.
where our lives are, so everything's about judgment, everything's about this, and it's so unfair to our self-esteems, and it causes us and keeps us in these comfortable spots where we don't want to really do anything. I think the world has a giant issue going on right now in it. It's not a race issue, it's not any type of poverty issue. What it is, it's a conversation issue. Nobody's fucking talking to each other anymore. It upsets the shit out of me. I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever been to the point, like, I was so surprised when you said yes immediately to being on the podcast, for the quick reason of every time I invite somebody, there's a thought in everybody's head of why does this person want to talk to me and are they out to get me? It's always that. It's because we live in a world now where it's been so much attacking, it's been built upon people
Right. Right.
attacking other people, that when
Yeah.
someone literally wants to have a genuine conversation,
Yeah.
it's scary and it's new. And I don't think that's what it is, because we have not talked before this podcast and
No,
we
that's
have
very true.
easily had a conversation. It's
Yeah.
that simple. Just be real. Don't give false answers. Society as people, I've talked about for a long time now, we have
Yeah.
worn we've worn a mask, and this mask isn't makeup mask. It's a fake personality mask that hides who we really are, because we just give autopilot answers. We give all these other types of things. There's no genuine caring because we're just on autopilot 24/7.
Right.
And I think
I
it can change.
Yeah, I definitely do. I understand why people feel that way. I'm not going to lie. If you'd asked me a year ago, I would have completely ignored the message because I was so paranoid and so I had no self-love, that I just assumed that everyone hated me. I also struggled with body dysmorphia and self-confidence. Like, I just thought even my best friends hated me. Um, it's a struggle. It's been like a real struggle. And it took me, I'm going to be 32 this month actually. And it took me until 32 to figure out how to, and I'm only just like, I'm still working on this stuff,
Wait, you're
but
32?
Mhm.
That's what vegan will do to you. It's good for 32. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm telling you, it's got lots of benefits, and yeah, it's been like a self-love journey. I'm still on it. I'm always going to be on it, but yeah, that it resonates with me that you said that would think that someone's out to get you, because I always did with everyone. If people tried to talk to me at the bus stop or in a bar, or I would just think that this person was trying to get me in some way, or they had an ulterior motive. Anytime my friends brought in a new friend, I would immediate distrust, because I would think that until I got a feel that they were genuine people, because I was so protected of my friends because I loved them so much. But my assumption was everyone's bad. But then this amazing thing happened when I started this and it's going to sound so contrite, and I'm sure people will be irritated, but when you open yourself up and you start to love yourself, things start happening, like these incredible things start happening. From mundane things become so good. Like today, actually, I was at work and I was talking to someone, and I've never spoken to this guy before, and he's just written a book about data alchemy, and we started talking about data alchemy again a year ago. If he had brought that up, I would have immediately shut down, got scared. Why is he talking to me about something personal? He wants something from me, I don't know what it is, and I would have ended the conversation as quickly as I could have. And I honestly think it all comes down to self-love, and then when you love yourself, you can take care of other people, which I think is so important. And that's the problem. I think that our society has kind of got off kilter, is that we're not taking care of each other. We've now become so focused on ourselves, and part of it is the communication thing you said, because everyone is so insular now with social media and stuff like that.
Well, it creates false connectivity, which is like talking to people through
Right.
social media instead of talking to people in person. The feeling you get, like, yeah, this is as close to probably in person as we're going to be able to get, unless somebody's traveling somewhere. If you want to come over for a sleepover,
Right.
that's cool. You can do that. But when we talk about the connectivity with a post on social media and you get a like from it, that response is not the same as when you would come home and you would have a problem with your day and you would talk to someone like a friend. There's a
Right.
connectivity
Right.
issue. We need to have each other's energies around us, and we need to have this actual connection and this thing you get when you go in, used to get when you go into a store. Now everything's so false because it's hard for everybody now. We've been exposed to too much. There's too much in our own lives. It's getting harder to survive, and nobody's really giving
Yeah.
off good energy anymore. You know, when you're with your friends and you're partying or something, and you're having a bonfire, or you're having a really good dinner, you feel the energy from it. You feel like this is fucking awesome. I never
Right.
want it to
Right.
end.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Right.
nowadays, it's like you get home from work and it's like you go into your house, and the next thing you know, you just want to lay down and you just want to go to sleep and wait till the next day. And then after years and years of that, it becomes very, very painful. And I think during the lockdown, all this other types of stuff that was happening, we
Right.
noticed like, oh, we never talked to our neighbors before, but now we literally physically can't. We're not allowed to. So now it's like a
Right.
taboo thing we want to do. So I think people started seeing that, and hopefully we stick with it pretty long. I don't think it's going to
Yeah.
last forever. I think we're going to revert back to our old ways, but I think people started noticing like, oh shit, like maybe I should be talking to my neighbor a little bit more. Maybe I should be experiencing my friends and family more, because
Definitely.
we were just told for so long we can't be near our friends and family, and now we're starting to come back to it. I think everybody's like, oh
Right.
shit, I don't want this to ever go away again.
Right. I think the most important thing um, is, sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm on my MacBook and it lets me know when texts come through. Um, I think that's why self-love is so important, especially right now. because we are in a situation and in a pandemic where we are being sort of locked away with ourselves, and I think it's I'm not saying it's easy at all, because it's not, as I said, 32 years, but there are things that you can do to help you on the way, and meditation is huge. Like meditation and Kundalini yoga are two of the things that have helped me so much. My friend, she does classes online. Her Instagram is the purest intentions. Is it underscore the purest intentions? It may be underscore the purest intentions. And she changed my life. She doesn't know this, I've never told her, but she changed my life from being hateful towards myself to kind of almost seeing the beauty and starting to grow and change and loving myself. She's one of my bestest best friends, and she just happened to start on this journey to being like an incredible yoga instructor, and she very kindly was like, hey, while I'm practicing and learning, come take my classes for free. And she knew I didn't have much money at the time, and then I did, and so yeah, she's amazing. If you ever want to, you should definitely check her out, because she just
Let's get her on the podcast. I'm down to talk some
yes,
meditation.
yeah, that would be amazing. I will definitely I'll forward you her information so you can talk to her as well. She's a really cool individual. Love her to death. But
I
I'm
think
going back to the love thing. Sorry, no, go ahead.
I was saying, I think one of the most important things is the fact of we really don't like people always talk about how important self-care is and all these weekends. Like
Mm,
this is my relaxation weekend. You wouldn't need that if the world wasn't so damn stressful. And I think
totally.
the
Yes.
fix to self-care is that self-care is an issue. What I consider is that you need to learn to care for others. I know it's hard to care for another person without caring for yourself, but the fact is we're on the same systematic thing where it's like cracks in a window pane. Basically, every day you
Right.
experience a little fracture in your glass and you just go to sleep. It doesn't fix it. We got to make our lives better by trying to create a better experience when we go out into the world, being shut off and only thinking about ourselves
Definitely.
24/7. Because I get it, it's hard to not think just about yourself, because of the fact is it's already pretty hard for you. But once you start making more conversations, things more enjoyable,
Yeah.
you're not going to need those weekends where you're just inside your house relaxing all day. You want to go out and
Right.
have fun with people. You want to go out and want to have
Yeah.
this with people, because that's what's important, is bringing back those moments and those interactions with people that we seem
Definitely.
to know, like we understand a lot
That
about
become
them
less and
based off.
less.
Yeah, well, we like to think we know a lot about
Yeah.
them from their Instagram, but that's nothing. You got to find out who they truly are.
You don't. Yeah, definitely. Um, but I think self-love is not thinking about yourself. That's one of the things that my friend teaches. So it's like you become part of a higher consciousness. We are all one, and that I believe anyway is true self-care, is understanding that we are all part of this one thing, whatever you want to call it. We are part of one, or we we all deserve love, and we deserve to give love to everybody, not just to ourselves selfishly. A lot of people think self-care is face masks and me time and stuff like this, and that is a part of it. Like, you need rest and you need respite from the world, as you said, because it's so stressful and it is so intense, and the way that we work and the way that we live our lives is
It's in,
fundamental to keep a capitalist society going. But true self love is loving others as much as you love yourself.
it's important not to conflate ego with empathy.
Yes, exactly. Yes, you hit the nail on the head. There's this great exercise that my friend does called Ego Eradicator, and you do like a thumbs up thing, and you hold your hands up at a 45-degree angle, and for 2.5 minutes you pump your stomach with air. It sounds odd, but the exercise, she explains what they'll help you do, and they do. It works. After I've had them, I've noticed changes in the way that I come at life and how I respond to life's problems.
Sounded like an amazing ride at Disneyland.
Well, it's not, I'll be honest, it's pretty hardcore. There are times when I'm doing the workout where I'm like, for fuck's sake.
Let me put my arms down.
But I always feel amazing afterwards, so that's good. And it gets, as you do it, as I'm sure you know, being someone who works out, if you do it more regularly, you start to be able to hold your hands up for the whole 2.5 minutes, and you just have to stick with it and really work with it. So yeah.
I think the main thing people need to really stick to is the fact of, remember the empathy thing. That
Yes.
Being empathic, not only when it comes to vegans being empathic to animals, but also just us being empathic to our own people. I think that's what the world really needs and is what's missing.
It does.
I think with everybody kind of waking up and a lot of things that are kind of shifting in this world, I think this is the prime time to keep that into focus, is the fact of just don't be a dick. It's not that hard.
Not that hard. It really isn't that hard. It's don't be a racist. And that means even small things like, and we've all learned, we are all racist. All privileged people are racist. I'm mixed race and I'm racist, but it's not racist in like I hate black people. It is racist that we have learned biases that we need to change. But now this is happening, and now we are learning, and now we are understanding where our learned biases come from. So it's like, don't be a racist in that way either. Like, understand that it applies to all
be
of
a
us.
person.
Just be a person and be kind and be empathetic.
And don't eat meat.
Don't eat meat or dairy. And
I love my eggs, damn it.
Have you ever had Just Egg?
What do you mean by Just Egg?
So it's a brand. It's a vegan egg brand. It comes in like a little, almost like a milk bottle. It's hideously expensive.
I've had egg whites.
So
does that
good.
count?
No. This is a vegan. This is a vegan egg, like substitute.
You're gonna have to send me a DM of it. I'm gonna have to buy it.
I will.
I'm gonna have to buy it.
It is phenomenal. It's not in the UK yet. I'm so sad about it. Whenever I go to the States to see my friends, they always make like tacos and stuff with it. It's incredible. So yeah, you should definitely try it out. It's worth it. I think it's $10 for one bottle, but it's so delicious. And
I'm about to start a riot on the vegan prices. We need to drop those things.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's the dream, is that eventually. But as things start becoming more popular, they will, right? Like, as more and more companies bring this out, you have to, because you have to kind of match your competitors.
Give the people what they want, and not only what they want, what they need.
What they need. That's it. So yes.
So I appreciate you, Sarah, for coming out and doing the podcast. I know it was random.
Thank you so much for having me. No, it was great. I thought it was wonderful.
Please,
it was so fun.
Plug your Instagram, plug everything that you need so people can find your content.
Okay, yes. My Instagram is Pizza My Minds with an S on the end. And I try to keep things as fun as I can. I do talk about some racial issues that I think are important, and some other things. So I just want to be like upfront and honest to people who may be following me, that is something that I think is very important. But a lot of people, I've noticed a drop in followers since I've started posting this kind of stuff, which I don't care about, but I just feel like it's good to be upfront and be like, hey, if you have a problem with it, I'm probably not the best person to follow, because I do like to share
people
petitions
just want to brush
and
stuff
like that
under the rug. They don't really want to focus on the issues, and it's like you gotta have some stuff in the spotlight here.
Yeah, right. But I also like to spread joy and fun and laughter. So yeah, Pizza My Minds, and that's about it at the moment. I've only got an Instagram. I'm not very savvy when it comes to social media quite yet.
Well, is there any way you want to wrap this up with one saying or something you want to tell the audience?
Oh my goodness, that's a not really. I think we hit the nail on the head earlier when we were just like, don't be a dick.
Yeah, don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. I think that's a good thing to end on.